Advanced TV Herstory connects the dots of TV and feminism to American culture and politics in many ways. Each podcast episode delivers thoughtful analysis or stimulating conversation to your ears. And of course, sign up for our free monthly newsletter at tvherstory.com. This is my approach to connecting with you face-to-face with insights, news, and explanations. Welcome to Advanced TV Herstory Extra. I'm your host, Cynthia Bemis Abrams. Historians, it's Cynthia Bemis Abrams here. I'm going to share a little bit with you about what we've got going on here in the month of May at Advanced TV Herstory. Most importantly, I want to share with you the May episode, which is a very cool interview with Lynn Harris, who founded Gold Comedy. What is Gold Comedy, you ask? It's a bit of a workshop environment training ground for people who are funny and who are looking to take their funny to the entertainment world. And the entertainment world might be stand-up comedy or writing for TV shows or writing bits for YouTube. Hard to know. They are both in front of the camera or in front of the audience, as well as sometimes behind the scenes. A lot of funny people in this world all of a sudden have an opportunity to make this their profession. And somebody like Lynn Harris at Gold Comedy can help bring that to fruition. But because it's Advanced TV Herstory, Lynn and I talk a lot about TV's funniest women. That's the title of the episode, TV's funniest women, past, present, and future. Lynn knows, certainly as well as I do, the lives and the legacies of some of the funniest women we've ever seen on TV, past Lucille Ball, who I think everybody would say is right up there of the funniest, just because she invented so much of it, or she is the first who made it her trademark. But we also talk about Betty White and some of the ensemble shows that featured incredible wit, like The Golden Girls and The Mary Tyler Moore Show. We talk about Saturday Night Live, which is just celebrating its 50th anniversary. And the original Saturday Night Live, the Not Ready for Primetime Players, which included Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, and Jane Curtin, they obviously influenced an entire next generation. So we talk about that next generation, and then we talk about how and who is funny today. And what I mean by how is the fact that between streaming and all of the different opportunities on the internet, being funny today is a very different challenge and opportunity than, say, Lucille Ball had, or even Gilda Radner. So Lynn Harris and I have a great conversation. I hope you'll check into it, find it wherever you get your podcasts. Secondly, I want to share with you some of the things I'm reading this month because they sort of factor into May. As you know, Mother's Day is coming up, and no trigger warnings at all, but there is a certain maternal theme to the two books that I'm reading. As you know, I like a good memoir and I like a good story about a life. And so this one I have not even started. And it is Susan Fales-Hill, the story about her mother's life. Susan Fales-Hill is a writer and producer, generally out of sort of the Cosby empire. She wrote on A Different World and The Cosby Show. She was also wrote for Suddenly Susan. Susan Fales-Hill writes about her mother, who herself was in the entertainment business and left a very strong impression and inspiration for Susan Fales-Hill. So I'm really curious about what this looks like, because the whole notion of society and the artistic profession for Black women in America, particularly in like New York, is just, it's fascinating. Lena Horne wrote so explicitly about it. We don't think about it enough. We don't think about those challenges. If we can understand what those challenges are, then it certainly influences us and educates us to have a better knowledge of how things are today, whether that progress has actually happened or not. Sorry to digress on this, but I'm not sorry, because it's really important. And I would say that the reading I've done for the podcast has brought me to this level of understanding. The other thing, though, in Mother's Day month, is the fact that I am now reading, this is just a tiny book. It's out of the TV Milestone series from Wayne State University Press. Bridget Kies, who has been on the podcast in the past, just a couple of years ago, we talked about the passing of Angela Lansbury, who starred in Murder, She Wrote. Well, Bridget was so fascinated by the content of Murder, She Wrote and Angela's life that she was well on her way to writing this book when we spoke. And now it's been printed. So we're going to have Bridget back on the show later on in the summer to talk about Murder, She Wrote as a series. I think you will be surprised at how influential it was, though it doesn't take too many questions of anybody in your circle or at your work or in your school to ask, how much Murder, She Wrote did you ever see growing up or as an adult? Do you find it to be comfort TV? Because it does not take much. Somebody's going to raise their hand and have a story about going to their grandma's house or their mother's house or whatever to watch this show. What was it? What's the secret? Well, Bridget and I are going to talk about that. So stay tuned for later in the month, or later in the summer, I should say. Listeners, viewers, this is just my way of bringing some more of the background, the preparation that I do for the podcast to you in a different format. I kind of feel it's important for us to connect in this different way. It's a little bit more visual, a little more informal, but still really important. I want to make sure that we are connecting. So if you've got any thoughts about this video format, is it too long? Is it too short? You want more? You want less? Let me know either in the comment section here on YouTube, or perhaps send me an email at advancedtvherstory@gmail.com. Find me on Blue Sky Social, and that's actually with my name, Cynthia Bemis Abrams. Instagram is Advanced TV Herstory. Those are kind of the main places to get a hold of me or make comments or whatever. Certainly, you're listening to the podcast, you're finding it on any app or here at YouTube. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for being a part of Advanced TV Herstory's community, and do stay in touch. I appreciate you as a listener and as a thinker about TV. I'm your host, Cynthia Bemis Abrams.